Open earbuds have come a long way in the last couple of years. Today we're going to look at a couple of low-cost options from Tozo, the OpenEgo, and from Nank, the OE mix, to see if they should be part of your audio collection. Namaste with DHRME. Dudes have recorded more entertaining videos.
The Tozo OpenEgo is a far chunkier case, and that's probably got to do with the chunky buds, but also the fact that there's a display in the case that's so very Tozo-like. And the display shows you the battery life in the case. The Nank, on the other hand, has a soft plastic charging case. It's far more portable and sleek. The buds are very light, and that's the first thing you will notice. They're very lightweight. Their marketing is no joke. However, the Nank only comes in one color, black, whereas Tozo you can get in black and white too. On the box, you do see more colors, but we couldn't see them on Amazon or on their website. We've got to say that Nank has some weird marketing because their website says both IPX5 and IP55 dust and water resistance. But the Tozo is very clear and says it's IPX5. Good that there's an official rating for both these products at this price point. These are open ear buds with a tiny speaker in the earpiece. They're both made out of materials like plastic and rubberized material. In our opinion, the Nank doesn't look bad at all. Quite premium looking and also sleek on the ears. The OpenEgo, let's just say you need a big ego. They are very prominent on your ears, especially this white one. And they just have a plain plastic look too. You do get the Nank or the Tozo logos slapped on both buds, but that's par for the course. The build quality on the Nank buds seems decent despite the lightweight, and the lid of the Nank charging case does close easily. Too easily. So the hinge isn't very hingy. The Tozo has a much sturdier and stiff design, but which one is comfortable to wear? The ear hooks on the Nank are very thin and very flexible. A little too flexible actually, that it sometimes flops around when you try to hook it around your ear. And because of the thin hooks, it's very easy to use with glasses or sunglasses. No issues. Overall, very comfortable buds, nothing to complain about here. And despite the lightweight, they are secure, so no worries with them flopping about or falling off during workouts. The Tozo have more stiff ear hooks, but they're not uncomfortable by any means. The only two problems are that the ear hooks are a bit thicker, which can cause some issues with glasses, and the fit isn't fantastic. For more stable workouts, these will be okay, but if you're rolling around on the ground doing yoga or something, then these will fall off. Tozo did include these rubber support tips, but they didn't really seem to help. Both the Nank and the Tozo are controlled using touch. Not the whole ear unit is touch sensitive though, only the top bit, so you have to hit it carefully. Compared to the Tozo, Nank does have a bit of a lag between hitting the gesture and getting it to do what you want. Both the buds support many controls. You got track control, volume, and voice assistant, but only the Nank has game mode low latency though. And volume is a single tap on the Nank, meaning you can't change a lot of volume quickly. The Tozo can be a long press, so that's a lot nicer. And entering pairing mode is also tricky on both these buds. There's no gesture to put the buds into pairing mode. The only way was to disconnect it from the previous device and then force it into pairing mode. Interestingly, you can power off both the buds manually in case you don't have the case on you. You do that by holding down on the touch controls. There are a few buds that do that, but the issue usually is that you can't turn them back on without the charging case. Not the case here. Long pressing that same touch control will power them right back up again. Alright, battery and charging. Now, Nank advertised 8 hours on the buds and 24 hours with the case. We tested that in our DHRME battery test, and we got 7 hours and 18 minutes on the buds. So it more or less matches the advertised numbers. For such a small package, it's packing quite a bit of battery. Nice one. Tozo advertised, no clue. Nowhere to be found how long the buds can hold charge, except that Tozo says that you'll get 30 hours with the case. But we tested the buds anyway, and we got 10 hours and 19 minutes. Also very impressive, but kind of expected with the bigger bud size. Both the buds only have Type-C charging, there is no wireless charging, and Nank's charging case has an LED that will change color depending on the battery status. The Tozo's implementation is the best with that display though. Very, very cool. And you might be wondering, what if we use these buds for phone calls? Well, in windy conditions, you heard the wind on both buds. This is a windy mic test. Nank OE mix. In windy conditions, let's make it really nice. Obstacle, ice, icicle. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Obstacle, ice, icicle. Test. testing. 1, 2, 3. All right, this is a wind test with the Tozo OpenEgo. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing. 1, 2. But the Tozo did a better job at suppressing it and providing some clarity to the voice. In noisy conditions, both buds did an alright job. Alright, this is a noisy mic test with cars in the background on the Nank OE mix. Pop, pop, popsicle, icicle, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, icicle, testing. 1, 2, 3. Alright, time for a noisy mic test with cars in the background for the Tozo OpenEgo. Pop, pop, popsicle, icicle, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, icicle, testing. 1, 2, 3. What do you guys think? But we would give the slight edge to the Tozo for better voice clarity and noise suppression again. For the Fakman, you only get answer hang up on both. But volume only works on the Nank. Unfortunately, the Tozo's volume control is for audio only, not for calls. And there's no mute control on either of these buds. Let's talk about the extra features. There is no app on the Nank, but Tozo does have one. And Tozo's app allows you to change EQ presets, change the touch controls, and update firmware. There's unfortunately no multi-point on either of these buds, and you cannot pull connect either. There's also no wear sensor, so taking off a bud will not pause the audio automatically or resume it when you put it back on. What about sound quality? How did the Tozo sound, Rohan?
Overall, the Tozo OpenEgo sounds surprisingly nice and balanced, and I'd prefer this to some even more expensive options. The mids sound really nice and the treble also to some extent. There's tons of customization in the app, but let's be real, it can't fix the one thing that's missing, the bass. There is decent mid bass for rock, but it's definitely on the lower side. The EQ does help, but it doesn't bring it up to even some other open ear buds. Also, these can get loud, but the last 20 or 30% can begin to sound very, very harsh.
The Nank supports the SBC and AAC codec only. There is no EQ since there's no app. But if you thought the Tozo lacked bass, then you can expect less on the Nank. Although Nank can get somewhat loud, it's not as loud as the Tozo. The price point on both of these buds is around the $50 mark, with regular discounts, so check the links in the description for latest prices. Okay, in conclusion, the Nank OE mix, strange name, but they come with a lightweight design, great comfort, and a secure fit. They also come with an IPX5 rating, 7 hours of battery life, and volume controls. But there's no app to tweak the EQ or even update the firmware. There's also no multi-point, the sound quality is lacking, the touch controls have a bit of a lag, and they only come in one color. The lack of an app and the promise of firmware updates tells us that there's no long-term vision for these buds. Just use them while you can, and that's that. But if you want an app, then the Tozo is a great option. They're comfortable, also IPX5 rated, good touch controls, and quite a bit of battery life. Also, relatively better sound and microphones as well. The downsides are the bigger case and buds as well as a less secure fit. For us though, the pick would be the Tozo OpenEgo. We can live with the downsides, whereas the lack of an app on the Nank means there's no long-term support for those buds.
These products were sent out by their respective companies, but this video is in no way sponsored by them. It does have a sponsor though, and that is Shox. Check out Shox's awesome open ears as well, the Open Fit and the Open Fit Air, for really comfortable lightweight buds from a company we are very happy to work with. Support the people who support us. And of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't thank our YouTube members, our patrons. Thank you so much for your support. And our subscribers to this channel, DHRME, as well as DHRME Life, the non-audio fun off-the-cuff channel. And a big shout out to our highest end supporters, Gamma Panda and Paula. You guys are amazing. You've been thankful about your ego, and we've been DHRME. Dui.